Have you ever heard of a Mary Dyer? Well, this week was my first time ever hearing of a Mary Dyer. She was one of four Quakers in Boston, Massachusetts, who was hanged in 1660. Her only crime was being a Quaker. This is a statue of Mary Dyer in Boston, erected in 1959, and I like the statue because she looks poised, she looks firm, she doesn't look quote unquote weak, you know. Um, I love the statue. I love her story. So let's talk about it. My name is Derek Wilmore. Let's get into this history. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with a few facts about Mary Dyer. So 1633, she marries William Dyer. She's born in England, marries William Dyer later on, moves to America, where she meets Anne Hutchinson. And so Anne Hutchinson, she adopts the religious beliefs of Anne Hutchinson, and she begins her journey. But I'm gonna stop there because something that I felt very interesting. The article that I read about starts off talking about Mary Dyer's stillborn baby. And so John Winthrop, leader of the Puritans, he decides that he wants to report about the baby, and he talks about how the baby was birthed with no head, and all these different things. It was very extra, to say the least, in the report. But that's like the theme for Mary Dyer in her story. She goes on and she begins to do the work of the Lord. So Mary Dyer, she begins to travel back and forth between Rhode Island and Boston. She goes back and forth to and from Boston multiple times, and multiple times she's warned about her work as a Quaker. And so they're telling her, don't don't come back here, because next time we're going to go ahead and execute you. And she goes to Boston one too many times, and that's when the execution happens. But Mary Dyer, her story is more so interesting to me because of the fact that she was such a relentless woman. So there's a quote in the reading, and the the marshal talks about how they were about to execute her. And her response was, let the Lord's will be done. Like, she was standing firm on her beliefs. She was a very radical woman. She did not budge in anything that she did. And the evolution of her story talks about how originally people would talk about Anne Hutchinson and her religious beliefs and what she did, but nobody ever talked about her friend, her associate, who was Mary Dyer. And so Mary Dyer, her story, is a representation of the relentlessness of a woman, and how when it comes to equality and equity within society, women start and finish their own movements. Because also there was a quote in the reading about how the marshal, he said, I believe you, I'm with you, but I have to do what I'm told. As she was walking to be executed, he said, I'm with you, but I have to do what I'm told. And so it just goes to show you the perceptions of women, but also how women have been the starters and the finishers of their own movement. But I just liked how radical she was, and how she didn't budge for nobody. That's the story of Mary Dyer.